welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be doing one of the little pine cone Christmas trees, and this is one of my favorite videos this season. And we're going to start with a Christmas tree that I picked up, and I have seen these everywhere, but I purchased mine at the Dollar Tree. So, and they can come in different sizes, so if you want a bigger one, look for the bigger one. We're going to use what is left on the tree, but we're going to use it as our base, because bases can be so expensive, and this is already created for us, so for $1 you can't beat that. Now we're going to leave this garland on because it helps us to give something to glue to the pine cones. But if you fill the base, there's quite a space in between, so we're going to come back in and just wire it a little bit more so that it doesn't fall through, and if any of that melts when we're gluing to it, we don't lose our shape of our tree. So I'm just taking some wire and I'm just going to wrap it around and just give it some extra support to help hold our little pine cones. And this one, these little things actually have some little teeth in between, which is kind of nice, so it actually holds it in place. You don't want it too far apart. I'm just going to take that all the way up to the top. Alright, so our little base is ready to go. So we've got that all done. Now we're going to work on our little pine cones. And our pine cones have a snowy look to them, and this is actually with a Crayon. We're going to be using quite a bit of crayon today. For this project, it'll probably take us a couple of crayons or more. So 2 to 3 of your white Crayola crayons. And we're going to be using our stipple brush today. And if you don't have one of these, you want to use a brush that's very, very stiff, and we do have these available for you, but you're also going to want to make sure that you don't want to use that brush for anything else other than that, because we're really going to torture this little brush today. So we've melted our crayon in our well just like we normally do, so it's all in there nice and toasty, but we're going to do this a little bit different today, and I'm actually going to pull it out of my tray because it's a little bit messier than what we're used to. And we're going to dip into this. We're going to dip down into this if our camera wants to get a good shot. Now if you want less, you can use what is on the top, but if you, the more snow you want, the more you're going to kind of dip down into that. And when you're melting your white crayon, you don't worry about this one if it gets onto that second layer. But we're just going to come in and add the snow to our little pine cones. And I'm using the smaller pine cones. If you had a bigger tree, you could use bigger pine cones. Now you can see how I kind of stick it down in. The more snow you want, the more crayon you pick up. But it's going to make a mess. It's going to be a little bit all over the place. And you're probably going to have to stop and load quite a bit. And like I said, if you want to load it more so it's on the next level on this project, that is okay. Just make sure when you're done that you clean all of the white crayon and everything out of your melting pot. Okay, so you can see how fast those little guys go on and how fun that looks. And we're going to take our little guys now, and we're going to actually glue them on to the tree. So I have a section that's about that big in each of these, and what I want to do is make sure that you go from your big pine cones to your smallest pine cones being on top. And you want to do it so there's probably, to start with, about 2 in this section. If you're working with bigger pine cones, then you're not going to be able to get the 2 in there. And you can also use a longer, skinnier pine cones and kind of interlay them and run them on up. It doesn't matter. So we're going to start by gluing these all on. And I did some of mine and then glued them on the tree, did some more, kind of saw where I was at, and kept on going. And just kept on working my way up. Now, when I came around with the next layer, I put them in between and glued them in between. Now you're going to be losing about a pine cone per row, if not more, so they're not always going to line up. And you're just going to keep on gluing them around your tree till you get your tree all the way done. And like I said, these little guys up here, I just did the smallest ones, so just take them from small to little. Get rid of all your glue gun tails. That's really kind of a thing that's a no-no. But once they're on, that's what it's going to look like. And there's a bunch of ways you can decorate it if you don't want to leave it plain. I also kind of like it plain. I found this little guy in a floral arrangement at the dollar store too. There was 3 or 4 of those in a little arrangement, and I just took that and put it on my tree, and I really liked the kind of look that it gave. You could come in and put small Christmas bulbs in between each one of these sections. I would even use smaller, going to the real small ones depending on how big your tree is, so you could do it like that. But I've decided that I want to kind of give mine a woodsy look, so I take one of the inexpensive garlands, and this is a little garland that I found at the Dollar Tree, so it's real inexpensive, and I'm going to cut little tiny sections just like that. And I'm going to glue those little tiny sections in between each of those pine cones to give it more of a green tree feeling. And then I didn't like how dull it was, so I found a little berry pick, and I did purchase this at the Dollar Tree as well. And on my little berries, we're just going to glue them here and there to brighten up that tree, so we get that fun Christmassy feeling with all the snow and the holly and the berries on our tree. But there's a lot of ways you could decorate that as well. But just by using the base as an inexpensive tree to start with and just doing your own thing with that. Now I also found these little wreaths again at the Dollar Tree, and by themselves they weren't very, very thick or anything, and I do have a thing that shows you how to turn them into a wreath, but they look awesome by just simply setting your tree inside of that. And if you needed to add more height to it or needed it more for a table centerpiece, just take your terracotta pot and put it on that. This one I coated with the glitter Crayon spray, the new stuff, the glitter blast, and I added some color to it with the crayon process as well. So there's a bunch of little ways that you could decorate our little tree, and you could have 2 or 3 of them kind of staggering heights. So just have fun with it. If you have any questions about our little Christmas tree project that we did today, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com. If you need any of the wax tools that we may have used today, please visit my website at miriamjoy.com. You'll find the YouTube link there. We'll take you over to more fun YouTubes, as well as the Facebook link. And we try to put something up there every day to inspire you. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas and God bless.